key to the economic development of Londonderry and the southern New Hampshire region. They're, as I've heard and read, it looks like they're going to move, hopefully get some money and try to speed up the access road from Route 3 to the airport. Well, that puts more pressure on us to get the Pettingill Road connected and open up our industrial land. I've seen some of the plans back years ago when I was on the planning board. We looked at a lot of them. And there truly is the potential of 4,000 to 6,000 jobs in that area. We develop it right, it will be very beneficial to Londonderry. It will increase our tax base and give some relief to the property owners. But at the same time, it's going to help the entire southern New Hampshire region. Jack's Bridge is already well under development. We've got the good road back in there. That's developing on its own pretty well, and I see nothing but bright spots for that in the future. So with the expansion of 93, these two areas are going to be key to the economic growth of Londonderry.
I agree. Economic viability is very, very important to us. We need to really look at that area. There's a ton of jobs that could be produced in that area, as you said, and also a ton of tax revenue. In business, we're constantly looking when times are tight and costs need to be reduced. We also have to be mindful of what I call building the top end, and that is bringing in more income. And these areas are definitely areas up in the airport access road area and Pettingill, as well as Jack's Bridge, that are definitely viable areas to develop.
Well, I agree. The Pettingill Road is what looks like it could be our future. It brings more traffic into the town. It brings jobs into the town on day one, just the building it alone. More traffic into the town, of course, would mean busier in the shops, could increase your property values. I think that's the key right there.
Yeah, that's it. It's our future. We have to develop that property. We have to have a good plan, and we need to do it now. We have been talking about this for I don't know how many years, but many. We have to do it. It's the only way that we are going to survive as a town and have people be able to live in this town that are younger than us. Because at this point, there is no way youth or young adults are going to come and live here, because they're not going to be able to. Because there's not enough business to support them living here. The housing prices are, you know, even though they're down today, they're not going to stay down. And the property taxes are going to keep going up, because it's inevitable. You can only cut so many things. So you can only cut taxes so long, and you can only raise taxes so long till you get to a point where everything is broken. And I think that's exactly where we're headed right now. And so I think that the economic planning is absolutely the key to our future growth. And I think it's something that we have to focus on.
Well, whether we wanted it or not, there's a stimulus package that has been brought forward. And I know some of our leaders have been trying to talk to some of our officials that are going to be in charge of that money to try to get Pettingill Road included. Looking at the paper the other day, I don't even believe it was in the top 20 as far as what they have allocated so far for the money. So that would be a tough sell as far as getting it put on the state's list of priorities. I do agree. I think it's an important thing to open up the land up there. But there's a number of things that you have to consider. A, it's privately owned land. It's in a down market. And if I was owning that land, I don't know if I'd have a difficult time parting with it right now at a low cost, because they're probably not going to get as much as they would have. Right now there is no building at all. There are no builders out there building anything right now. I believe that the road itself should be connected. I believe it should be built. I think it will create a lot of good things down the road, but I think right now we just can't do it. We're talking about people's jobs right now and survival for tomorrow. And yes, we have to look forward down the road, but I just don't see how we can justifiably do that if you're asking if it comes out of the taxpayers' money right now. That if it's supported by the stimulus plan and it gets paid for that way, great. That's a win for Londonderry. But right now, you know, that's kind of on the back burner for me.
I think we're looking at now with our budget, and I think we're being fiscally responsible. But as far as looking forward and looking at the future, we have to look at economic development. And we have to look at the southern tier. If we can build our infrastructure on the north end, we can open up that access road. I'm excited about the access road. It opens up 1,500 acres of industrial land. We can do a light commercial. We have control over that. We can contribute to those conversations. We can have a say as who goes in there. We can market ourselves. We're marketing ourselves right now as a town of Londonderry. It is our future if we can do it right, and I think it's being done right. If you look at the vision of what's already been laid out, it's very, very well written out. And I think if, as long as things keep going forward, we can have good corporate citizens that can contribute to the community. We can lower our tax burden. It will be very, very beneficial.
Thank you. Our next question is from Union Leader Reporter Alec O'Meara.
Thank you. Good evening, all of you. Staying on the topic of the budget, one of the issues of some debate for both the council and the budget committee this year was a decision to tap into some long-term investment accounts, some long-term savings accounts to make ends meet this year. It was discussed as a one-time stopgap to try and hold down costs for this year. Some of the things that were talked about were the undesignated fund, money from the cable access, franchise fees, and I believe there was no money given to conservation easement, which is something that's happened for the past 3 years. First of all, do you agree with this policy decision? And secondly, if the economy continues to stay down next year, would you look to do this again in the next budget cycle?
Joe Green, you begin the answer of this question.
Yes, you're right. We did deliberate on this quite a lot, and the committees were kind of segregated, I would say. I agree with what the town manager is trying to do. I feel that in these times you look for all the numbers anywhere you can get them, and these are, I know, accounting, maybe some accounting adjustments, but basically what we're saying is we're not going to allocate that particular money into that particular account this year. It's almost like, for those of you who are unaware of it, it's almost like you have like a little accounts that you push money into. So what we're basically doing is we're saying that we're not going to push that amount of money into that account for this year. We're going to put it towards saving an SRO officer maybe. We're going to put it towards saving 3 firefighters. So this is where I agree. When it comes to the safety of the town, when it comes to services, that's where we have to look at what are our priorities. The town council has to understand what the priorities of the townspeople are. And I believe the priorities, from what I'm hearing, they want to continue with the great services that they come to expect and come to live off of. Undesignated fund and franchise fees, these are all monies that are in certain kitties for that. So if it does stay down next year, again, getting more creative, I'm hoping that if I'm a town councilor, I will apply the things that I've learned in business and start to create some more positive income flows so that we may not have to worry about these shortcomings, because when you build the top end, as I said before, you'll have a lot more money to spend on these services. So, and you won't have to do these changes in the different funds.
Well, now, therein lies the problem, doesn't it? Do you want to cut taxes or do you want to have services? You know, it's difficult to take money and then give it back. It's like having a $50 bill. Once you break a $50 bill, you spend it. You don't have the $50 bill again. You gotta be careful. You gotta look at it individually. Make sure it's not gonna hurt anybody or anything.
I'm okay with pulling that money and adding, putting it to the bottom line. It's like in your budget, if you have X number of things you must pay, then you pay those things. And then if you don't have that $100 to put in your savings account because you got to make your house payment, then that's what you do. And if that's what we have to